morning, guys, and hello from China. Just taking a walk in my beautiful community here where I live. As you can see, it's very nicely maintained. I live in Changzhou, which is a third-tier city in China, very close to Shanghai and Nanjing. It's a pretty good city. The pollution is not that bad. Spring has finally come and it's looking, the weather is really good. And I thought today I will talk a little bit about my life in China because I've been in China now for 2 years and I've learned a lot along the way. As you can see, this is my little community that I live in. There's about 10 buildings altogether, and yeah, they all share this kind of middle park area, which is it's really nice. It's very nice. There's like a playground over there for the kids. My building is this one here. Yeah, in a moment I'll show you my apartment. But yeah, isn't it absolutely beautiful? And some days over here they'll show movies for the kids, so it's a really good place to have kids as well. You don't have to go to a park, you can just play with them out here. Check out this this fountain, very nice. Look at that, gorgeous. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to share my experiences of living in China so far. So let's go to my apartment. Let's go. So we're at the front of my building right now, and I just thought I'd show you quickly these lockers. I'm sure you've heard about it or seen it before. It's basically where you collect your parcels, your packages. So the delivery guy, he'll put them in there, and then they'll send you a code on your phone, and then you can just pick up your package. It's super convenient. These are everywhere in China. And then over here, yeah, people park their e-bikes. And e-bike is something that's pretty handy in China because there's so many people, there's so many cars, so every day there's a lot of congestion. So if you have an e-bike, you can sort of get around all of that. And I'll show you this is my e-bike right here. This little baby. So this is like a wind catcher basically during winter. We're just past winter, so I might not need it now, and I might take it off now. But yeah, during winter it gets pretty cold. But my job is only 5 minutes away, so I always use this e-bike. Super good, super handy. I think like most foreigners in China have one because like having a car, I suppose is also handy. But the thing is, with one of these, you can avoid all the traffic because you never have to wait in queues, and it's really like most of the time you don't need a car when you live in China because everyone lives in cities, and in the city you always have metro, you always have an e-bike, so it's always much more convenient than a car. As you step out of the elevator, there's a kind of like a balcony, like a shared balcony area. You can get a bit of a view from up here. You can see, pretty nice. The school that I teach at is like over there. Yeah, it only takes 5 minutes with the e-bike, not even that, maybe 3. But this is pretty handy in China. You don't need a key, you just code lock, and voila. And here is my beautiful apartment. this apartment is 90 square meters, and it's three bedroom. It's got a balcony. So I'll show you everything right now. Here's my kitchen. Yeah, I don't really cook. I never cook. I just order food all the time because I don't really like cooking and it makes a mess. This is a water distiller. So a lot of people in China, almost everyone, they just buy water. So the water will get delivered in bottles. But if you get one of these, you put tap water in there, and this is a distiller. It'll just distill the water, kill all the bacteria, and you get the cleanest water you can possibly drink. And then you don't have to deal with plastic bottles all the time. Yeah, got some vitamins and stuff, and then yeah, like I said, fridge is empty. I'd never make food on my own because I don't really like it. In China, I kind of worked it out. Ordering food, getting food delivered is only slightly more expensive than making it yourself. And, I make a good salary, so I don't really want to have to deal with making food and washing dishes. It's just a little luxury. All right, moving on. So here's the kind of dining area. Yeah, and then here's the living room. Got a nice TV there, very nice. All right, and here's the balcony. Yeah. Washing machine. Yeah. Pretty good. All right, moving on. Here's the whole house has air conditioning, so here I can control it. All right, so this is the guest room. Currently empty. Yeah, I live here by myself, so yeah, of course, there's no one in here. Here's the bathroom. So this bathroom is pretty cool. It's got one of these. This is basically a heater. So I turn this on, and this will blow hot air. And the reason that's good is because in winter, when it's freezing, you get hot air when you come out of the shower. In China, they don't have houses in the south. Where I live is considered the south. Houses in the south do not have heating in the house. So in the winter, it's freezing, which is the strangest thing ever. In the north of China, they all have heating, but in the south, they don't. But where I live, the winters still get really cold. Anyway, here's like a rack to hang your towel, and this one heats up as well, which is really cool. So the towel gets dry really quickly. All right, moving on. Here's the main bedroom. This is where I sleep. Yeah, it's very nice. And last one, here's my study room. Yeah, so it's a 3-bedroom house. Obviously, it's pretty big for one person, but that's the thing, in China, this apartment isn't very expensive. I'm gonna share with you in a moment how much I pay. If you're a foreigner in China, usually you're making a pretty good salary, and renting an apartment like this is no problem. So why wouldn't you live a little bit more comfortably? If I was to rent something like this in Australia, yeah, I just wouldn't be able to save any money. I wouldn't be able to, So anyway, let's get down to the meat of the video. I want to share with you my experiences in China. these past 2 years. So let's get started. The rent is 4,000 RMB, and utilities, water, electricity, gas is about 300 a month, I think. Yeah, about that. My salary, so I work as an English teacher. I teach year 2 at a Chinese private school. My salary is 30,000 a month. So, like when I said before, this place it's affordable for me because 4,000 is only about 13% of my monthly salary. So yeah, it's very affordable and it's nice to live in a place like this. Last year I was living at my school. So my school offers me an apartment on the school grounds. And obviously, yeah, like living like that, you can save a lot of money, like it's free, but it's not very convenient. It feels horrible to always be at the school. You know, I was there after work, I was there on the weekends. So after that first year, I really had to just leave, and I wanted to find a nice place to live in, and that's when I decided on this one here. The last 2 years, I've only worked at 2 places. So I worked at a training center, and now I'm working at a Chinese private school. Training centers are horrible. I don't want to work there. Bad management, bad curriculum, no annual leave. Yeah. And they're also the government is slowly getting rid of them. So in the future, there'll be no more training centers. Where I work now, I would consider the best place to work in terms of being an English teacher, because if you work at a kindergarten, you might get the same salary that I get now, but you just wouldn't be able to, you're not going to have as much annual leave. So if a school, like the students have 2 months of summer holiday and 1 month of winter holiday. So if you work at a school, you also have holidays during those times. And I get paid during my holidays, full salary. So 12 months of 30K. But if you work at a kindergarten, you usually only get 1 month of salary. So definitely work at a school if you live in China, and try and find a good school. Right now I'm dating a Chinese girl, and things are going great. She's about the same age as me. She's 32, I'm 31, and yeah, we're having a great time together. She lives in Hangzhou, which is about 2 hours from here. Dating Chinese girls in general, I think it's a bit of a hit and miss. I've dated probably 3 or 4 girls in the time that I've been in China, so in 2 years. Some of them are very traditional, and that can be a bit of a culture shock. I think for me, what's important when I'm dating someone is that they're not like doing everything for me in terms of like cleaning my clothes and cleaning the house and things like that. I want my girlfriend to have her own career, her own hobbies. You know, she doesn't need to wash my clothes. You know, I can do that myself. The first girl that I dated, she didn't have any of her own interests, and she wasn't really interesting at all. And I realized the reason why did I date her? It's because I never dated a Chinese girl, so I was just very curious. And then I learned quickly that we're not a good match. I realized that a lot of Chinese girls are like this, especially if they're young. They just want to find some guy to sort of take care of them financially, and then they take care of the guy in terms of just washing, cleaning, cooking, having a baby, taking care of the baby.
sort of traditional gender roles that we had in the West a long time ago. Women in Chinese society are still, their value is not that high. Of course, it's getting higher and higher and higher, but you know, it's still, a lot of people still have the traditional way of thinking that women should do cooking, cleaning, and washing, and then have the children, and that's it. That's all they're good for. Whereas I strongly don't believe that. I believe women should have a career of their own, and they should have their own interests and hobbies, and their life should not be what society dictates. But yeah, in China, that's still very, very normal. So yeah, I made that mistake with the first girl, but now the girl that I'm dating now, things are really good. She has her own career. She's very mature, very intelligent. So it's definitely possible to find find someone in China. Learning Chinese has been a lot of fun. I think it's been the best thing that I've done. Right now, I'm like a high intermediate, and honestly, if you live here and you have good Chinese, it's just so useful. Just everyday stuff in life, and Chinese people will start to respect you a lot more, and that also feels good. It feels good to be respected. If you live here for like 5 years, and every time you meet a Chinese person, they're like, "Oh, how long have you been here?" "Oh, I've been here 5 years," and then you know you don't speak a word of Chinese. They lose a lot of respect for you. There's no one who's so busy that they can't learn it. 99.99% of the time, people are just lazy. There's so many ways to learn it. You know, you have a ton of apps, the perfect environment. I would say that's the thing that has shocked me the most. Like, I just can't believe it. Like, so many foreigners in China just don't speak little or no Chinese. What are they thinking? Like, why? My whole theory behind it is that I don't want people to sort of help me all the time. Because when I first came to China, I had always had people help me. I was like, "Oh, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that." And I hate the feeling of being helpless. That's what happens when you don't know the language. But if you know the language, you can assimilate into society better, you understand things better, you understand the culture, you don't need people's help, and you gain a lot of self-confidence from that. Learning Chinese is super important. Travel, play the guitar, go to the gym, not really much. On the weekends, these days, I usually spend the weekends with my girlfriend. I know that a lot of foreigners in China, they like to go to bars and party, and that is basically their free time. But not everyone is like that. I think my partying days are over. I'm not really very interested in going to bars or getting drunk anymore. Alright, so before I came to China, my image of China was completely different to what it is now. And of course, that's natural, you know? If you haven't been to a place, you can't really comment on that place, right? What we know of a place is just what's on the news. And it's so true, you know? Like, the news, they do like to downplay or say bad things about China, the Western news. And I always thought that was like, that's not true. You know, the Western news is the best news. But they do like to always kind of criticize it. Why? Yeah, I don't know, maybe out of fear, or when I came here, the censorship, yeah, that's real, you know? Like, you can't access Google and YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. You can't access them. But I mean, of course, you can use a VPN and access them, you know? I mean, how am I uploading this video? I mean, I'm using a VPN to upload it. So all foreigners here can access any website that they want. And even Chinese people use a VPN. Even though it's illegal, you can get fined, or I don't know what happens, but to this day, no one has ever been put in jail or been fined for using a VPN. I mean, just think about it, there's so many people using it, so how can they're gonna fine every single person in China? It's just not realistic. Yeah, so that's the whole censorship thing. It's not really like a big thing. The thing is, you know, like, Chinese people, most of them are, like, they're aware of what's going on in the outside world. I always kind of thought, you know, they don't know what's going on, but That's not true. Like they see the news that they see is what's happening. It's not been like, it's not North Korea. Goddamn, it's not like that. It's normal. They see what's happening. The news, the only thing is that the news will never say anything bad about the government. So if the government did this or that and the result wasn't good, the news outlet will not say that it was bad, you know. Of course, they would never. You can just, that's the only thing. You can't criticize the government, and you can't go out and protest, and you can't rally people against the government. So all of that is obviously illegal. But other than that, you know, everything is kind of just normal life, you know, the way that you would live in the West. And once you live here, you kind of just, you don't really think about that stuff, you know, because I mean, as if you're gonna go start criticizing the government. Like I don't have any views or opinions. I don't care. Like nothing the government has done has affected my life. I mean, if they brought out a new policy that affects foreigners, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I can either stay here, or I can leave. I'm not gonna start protesting their rules. I mean, there's nothing I can do anyway. When you're a foreigner here, you just live here. You follow the Chinese laws, and honestly, things are great. If you follow the laws, you follow the rules as you would in any country, then nothing bad happens. COVID was super strange. Like, I came here when there was COVID. So I came here in 2021, at the beginning of 2021. And I quarantined for 3 weeks in a hotel, and the restrictions were insane. You know, it was just COVID tests all the time. During those 2 years, I think that I was here, there was a lockdown about 3 times. So our classroom, we moved classes to online, happened about 3 times, and each time it was about a month. But yeah, as you know, at the end of last year, COVID the government sort of realized that they're not gonna be able to control it, because there was outbreaks just everywhere. In Guangzhou, there was like 100,000 people that were infected, and even with their crazy restrictions, they just couldn't control it. And then you also had people starting to protest, which was crazy, you know, protests in China. So the government was feeling a lot of pressure, not only from people, but also financially. It definitely has cost a lot of money for them to maintain the zero COVID. It was crazy. They just suddenly announced, like, we went from zero COVID, one day after, the government says, all right, no, we're scrapping it. And then boom, there was nothing, which I think is just so crazy, you know. I do remember them saying, like, a couple of months before they scrapped it, they're like, oh, China has to do the zero COVID. They have to maintain it for as long as they can. And you know, we're thinking like, oh, it's gonna be here till 2030. And then 2 months later, boom, no more COVID. Yeah, COVID is over. China is like pretty much open now. You know, Chinese people are already starting to travel abroad for holidays. I'm pretty sure coming to China, you can get a tourist visa. They will be issuing them starting maybe next month or the month after. So people can start coming into China to visit as well. So COVID being over is freaking great. It's so good not having to wear a mask and just, yeah, I had COVID and it was horrible, but it wasn't the worst thing, you know, you just have it, now it's over. And it's funny how everyone's just like resumed normal life now. And everyone was so fearful of this thing. And now they're just realizing like, oh, it wasn't actually that bad. It was kind of one of those things. But yeah, COVID is over in China, so everything is getting better now. I am looking at moving to Hangzhou to live with my girlfriend. Hangzhou is a really beautiful city. I want to make more videos. Honestly, I've just been really lazy. I was doing something else for about a year, so I never made a lot of videos. But if I live with my girlfriend, she can help me make more videos, help me film stuff. What else? Yeah, I'll probably keep studying Chinese, get my Chinese to fluency. and then hopefully I can change careers. It would be nice to not be an English teacher. I think it's a great thing to do for a while, but I would want to do something else. Either something that I can use my language skill in, my Chinese language skill. Do like import export between Australia and China, something like that. Yeah, I think the reason I don't want to teach English all the time is because I think even though this industry will probably stick around for forever, I don't see it going away. But if I only teach English, I can only do it in China. There's not a lot of opportunity in my home country. And every year that I teach English is a year of experience that I'm not getting in a different industry. I think there's a bit of a danger there. If you stay in China too long teaching English, you sort of become unemployable because you go back to your home country. This is if you're not a licensed teacher, because most foreigners in China, they're not licensed teachers. They just have a bachelor degree. If you're like me, then every year spent here is a year not working in an industry back home. So there's always that danger. So I think it's always good to have a plan B, and that's kind of what I'm working on. But for now, definitely just teach English. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked it. I'm definitely gonna make more videos in the future. I know I always say that, but this time I'm not gonna be lazy. I am gonna make more videos. Yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I usually I try to answer everyone, and I'm happy to answer any of your questions about China. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.